Well, all afternoon jet washing sheets. I've got loads to get through. Nice muddy quagmire now. Some are better than others. They've got creases in them and damage. Obviously they wear an insurance write-off, so they're not going to be perfect, but sod's law is I put the best ones at the bottom. So I'm just working my way through them so I can try and pick through and get the best ones on the roof. There's things like a little crease you can just see there. Now my verge will cover that. Some of it's got to be trimmed anyway, but not much, I don't think. But yeah, it's just one of the disadvantages of not having tailor-made brand new cut to size sheet. But I simply don't have that kind of budget, so it's make do and mend. Another sunny day, not very warm though. It's about 2 o'clock, or just coming up to it. Just enough to thaw out the freeze. But we've got that nice green slime grind on all the boards this side because there's always in the shade. So I've got the fourth sheet on over the other side, which you saw in the last video. Now my battens run just after that. I haven't got enough foothold to climb up and just do the top fixings. And I'll pull the sheet back and I can measure off the last sheet to the timber frame and see how much run out there is, whether I need to adjust the sheets or whether the flashing will cover it. And I think that'll be my end stop. I can't get the fifth sheet in because obviously I've got to leave a gap, which you'll see shortly. So now it's time to climb up the big ladder. So bird's eye view, fourth sheet's in. As you can see, my batten's finished there anyway, which means I've got no foothold, and I need to obviously leave that gap for the working, extending the timbers into the new side of the roof, which will be the next phase. So unfortunately I can't get that fifth sheet in, as they're 1 metre, so they're 3 foot 3 inches, so that wouldn't leave me enough working space. So what I might do is just get the sheet up here and overlap it so it's out of the way, although the rest of what's down there is still in the bloody way anyway, so I won't win either way. So I've had to, well, that third sheet slipped down. I just allowed probably about 1/8 of an inch higher, so it fitted on the batten. By the time I got up here, fixed it and got down and put this sheet up, it slipped down. So this time I've put a clamp on it to hold it in place. So I've just got to true this side up here, being these are 12 foot long and I'm standing there. There's pretty much no wind today, very low, but yeah, you wouldn't want to do it with any wind when you're fighting with a 12-foot sheet. You'll either go with it or let the sheet go and get damaged, but it came down on the batten and creased a little bit here, so I've just got to true that up. View from the other angle, it's certainly a calf muscle killer, standing on a 26-degree slope. Mind you, the 30 odd one on this side ain't much better. Not the best thing in the world when you've got a muscle wasting disease, but there you are. So that's in. So the next thing is to measure it up, although any datum I use there's nothing to say that that's perfectly perpendicular, so it just gives an eye by eye which is probably what most of this was built by anyway. It looks fairly square. It ain't gonna be. I don't think the original roof was. I know I had run out on that, and that cut a section of sheet, but obviously with this 6-inch wide flashing, although I think the other one's 6 and 6, that one's 8 by 6, I think, you can hide up a few sins. But obviously not being able to run all the way across in one hit is a bit of a pain in the aspidistra. And I know this is 5.1 and these sheets are 5, so I'm either after going to rip one down the length or overlap it. If I use a sheet with some damage in it on one corner or something, or one with a hole cut out, it's going to be underneath, so it's not going to make any difference. I could just overlap them rather than cut the whole thing. I don't think it's really necessary, and it's going to be sealed either way, so, and the screws all fixed through the batten, so I don't see the point in having to cut a 12-foot sheet in half. I'll just get one of these sections with a rib in it. We're not going to overlap it. But I'll be happy when this bit's done, because it's obviously a bit vulnerable from the road. You can climb up here, well, you need it's about 8 foot, so you'd have to be reasonably fit. Climb up here and cut through and drop down inside, and I have arranged a little rig up tripwire down there just in case anyone did get that idea. My neighbour over there, when he had a lot of work done on the house, he was still living next door to me, and a guy drove in and cleaned the builder's tools out, and the police done absolutely feck all. It took 8 weeks to pick up the CCTV footage I'd got of him robbing the stuff. But yeah, right, we'll get the tape measure out. Well, we're 39 inches from the roof beam there, and by the time we get up to the top, it's just a smidge under an inch, at about 39 3/4, maybe a tad more. But obviously that could be a little run out on the sheets. I mean, I've started that one by eye off the edge, so you know, if that gable's not square, obviously that ain't going to be square following along. I don't know how much tolerance these sheets have. You can stretch them a little bit. Looking at one of them, it's out more than another one, so I could possibly bring these out a little bit, which was the whole idea of only just putting the top ones in, so it makes it easier for me to rectify anything and pull it out. It will just make it easier, because I've got this flash in here, this stuff, so as you can see that's quite a bit wide. That's easily going to cover up an inch gap, but then the other sheet's got to be cut anyway, so the fifth sheet falls about here, so I'm going to have to either do another sheet that's almost the whole side of it overlapped and then trim an edge, or actually have to cut one down, and then I can run down one of these with a disc cutter, because the underside's not going to be exposed to the weather, like I said, and I can trim the edge off and put a flashing angle underneath, and then there'll be another trim one over the top, and then when this roof's here, somehow that's gonna cut in with another one over that side, because I always did have a little bit of problem with water ingress here, but then that was because these sheets just don't over the years they fail, so you get a little bit in, but I used to get a lot of water running in down this section here, as you saw one of the previous videos, with all this piece of wood was completely gone, and it was only supporting the roof weight on this piece coming across here, and that had started to rot out. I'm surprised this beam hasn't give out, because it's been exposed to the elements a lot of the time. I did put a sheet over it, it has weathered a bit, but I'll give this a clear soot before I seal it up, and I'll bring another flashing over the top of this to cover all this piece of timber up, so none of it's exposed to the external elements. But again, that's one of them things I can't do until I start stripping this off, get this first section in, and then well, it's now 3 o'clock. I've managed to refit the, you can't see because it's being washed out by the sunlight, but the other piece of timber, same as last time, cut it on the saw and filled that bit in and put the fascia on. So it's 3 o'clock now. I'm not going to get anything meaningful done today. I've just tried one of the sheets up on this section of roof, and it's miles too long. Not a bad thing, but underneath there somewhere are some sheets that might be more useful. So So I'm going to try them first. I think tomorrow, move those ones out of the way and see what's here, because sod's law, they're buried underneath some other ones, because there's 3 with a very slightly different profile. I can probably get away with using them first because the crown on these ones, good, you can't zoom when you're recording. Good. Yeah, let's have a go. This bit, the crown, they will fit over the top of the other sheets, but not the other way around. Can't show them, they're more of a square profile. I sort of spotted them as I was going through them. I thought that looks a bit different, because I've got 2 long ones which would do for the other side, but I've got enough of these. And underneath here is another 2, I think, with the holes cut out, which I'm saving them in case they will line up underneath here, and hopefully maybe here or up this corner or that corner, and put a wood burning stove in / waste oil burner, and utilise the hole. Sod's law, it won't fall in the right place, but you know, if it is, it's a bonus. So that's another project. I've got an old potbelly stove that I can use or make something up as a waste oil burner, because I have got the prop pan here, what you put underneath the car when it's on the ramp, and drain the oil into it. And I've got a couple of people in the garage trade as well, so if I can build a waste oil burner, that would be a bonus in here for heat, once I actually get all this crap sorted out. I'm in the midst of the job after this one is back to me kitchen, so that's all going to come out here, and I'll put a smaller kitchen in. Yeah, so we're still struggling with this. I've got to try and get behind that section of wall there to retrieve this flashing. I just went around the shed and it's a no-go to get around there, so I'm going to have to take that ladder and go back up there and then drop it down and get down behind here, which is about a 2-foot gap. So certainly won't be filming my contortion to try and get down there. There'd be a lot of bleeps as well. Oh boy, that was a job and a half. So they're all retrieved, or just about. I still got to stand on that rotten piece of wood to pull them out. But I had to take my coat off to get down there. It's that tight. I think I've probably got green algae all over me back of my cardy. There they are. That's another job done. Time I do that, it'll time a bloody sheet up. I hate these winter short days. Not as bad now, it's not dark till about, well, 5ish. You can work till now, so we've gained about an hour and a half, but yeah, still ain't great. Don't know what we're doing next door over there, but we've got a row of tractor tyres. Someone been nosy, thought they could break in, pull the fence panel slats away. Would have been done a while ago.